Welcome back, everyone. My name is Patrick. You're watching the Oilers Rundown. Well, it's been a couple days now since the Edmonton Oilers were eliminated by the Florida Panthers in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals, and the Edmonton Oilers were doing their end-of-season media availabilities today. Have a few things to go over from that, but there was also a report that came out last night from insider Frank Saravalli saying that the Edmonton Oilers are being investigated for their LTIR use on Evander Kane this season. It's got a lot of people frustrated with the use of LTIR over the years, how many teams have used it, how many teams have had virtually no issue, and of course, the very first time the Edmonton Oilers use it to their advantage going into the trade deadline with Evander Kane's LTIR space, the Oilers were able to trade for and acquire defenseman Jake Wallman, who will be with the Edmonton Oilers once again next season. So it's one of those things that gets people frustrated. We don't know the exact details of the discrepancy and what the NHL has taken issue with. I'm sure more details will come out over the coming days on that, but we'll have to see if there ends up being a penalty for the Edmonton Oilers or if everything is clear. Frank Saravalli mentioned that the Oilers have released all the information they have to the NHL, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens here, guys. I know it's a situation that has a lot of people upset. I'm in that group as well. I'm not going to get too upset about it until we find out what the consequences are or if there are any consequences whatsoever. Evander Kane's future with the Edmonton Oilers is definitely up in question. There is some reports out there that the Edmonton Oilers will be looking to move on from Evander Kane. I think that's part of where the Trent Frederic 8-year extension that we talked about yesterday is coming in. Trent Frederic is one of those guys who could be a potential replacement for Evander Kane. The Oilers need toughness throughout their lineup, and I don't think the Oilers see Evander Kane as a player in their top 9 here going forward. He had a great start to the Stanley Cup playoffs for this team, but was virtually non-existent along with several other players in the Stanley Cup finals. Pretty much only showed up to take undisciplined penalties. So I've liked Evander Kane at various points in his Edmonton Oilers career here. He's certainly been an effective player at times for the Edmonton Oilers, and I wouldn't be against keeping him, but I can understand why the Oilers are also looking at all their options for him. So we know they explored possibly trading him back at the trade deadline, but when he remained on LTIR, there was really no need to trade him because the Oilers got the benefit of his cap space and then were able to bring him back in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Part of the reason that they're under investigation right now, but like I said, we'll see what happens there, and we'll see what happens with Evander Kane here. I know there was speculation last summer as well that the Oilers may look to move on from him. There's been rumors of issues behind the scenes and all that stuff. So the Oilers will be looking to create more cap space this summer. And another player the Oilers are going to potentially look to move on from is Victor Arvidsson, who they signed last summer to a 2-year, $8 million deal. He has a no movement clause, so it certainly won't be easy, but there was reports going back to the trade deadline that Victor Arvidsson was open to waiving his no move clause, so the Oilers may be able to facilitate a deal there. And if they can move on from Victor Arvidsson without bringing any more money back, that would be another $4 million that they can potentially free up. So Victor Arvidsson, a guy who is in and out of the lineup for the Oilers in the Stanley Cup playoffs, moving on from him, I think would definitely be of benefit to this team. At today's media availability, Corey Perry confirmed that he wishes to remain a member of the Edmonton Oilers. There was reports earlier that he may look at retirement, but he shot those down going into the Stanley Cup Finals and has confirmed he wants to come back for another season. So I would love for Corey Perry to remain an Edmonton Oiler. He was a huge part of the team this year. A lot of people didn't like him getting re-signed last summer, but that deal worked out wonderfully for the Edmonton Oilers. 19 goals during the regular season last year. I can't remember his total in the Stanley Cup playoffs, but I think it was 10 or more as well. So Corey Perry has definitely been a valuable member of this team, bringing tons of experience, skill, behind-the-scenes wisdom. I think Corey Perry is a really valuable Edmonton Oiler, so I really hope they get a new one-year deal done for him. Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid were, of course, asked questions about the future. Leon Draisaitl, we know, is already locked into a brand new 8-year extension kicking off next season. He wants Connor McDavid back next year, and for the foreseeable future. All of Oil Country wants Connor McDavid back, and Connor McDavid was asked about his priorities, and obviously, number one is winning, number two, the family situation, and I think Connor McDavid did show some concern about the future for the Edmonton Oilers as far as prospects go. We know they lost Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg to offer sheets this past summer, so he wants to see how the Oilers intend to deal with that situation. We've kind of seen the start of it with the Oilers looking for free agent players from overseas, college players, a couple guys that should be on the team next year, or at least challenging to be on the team next year, some more prospects for the Bakersfield Condors. So definitely worthy concerns there for Connor McDavid, but I think ultimately he will sign a brand new long-term extension with the Edmonton Oilers this summer. He mentioned as well that he's in no rush to do so, so we may not see something right on July 1st or right around there, but I have full confidence that Connor McDavid will remain an Edmonton Oiler long-term. Another key player for the Edmonton Oilers' future is, of course, Evan Bouchard. He mentioned that talks are underway. They were put on hold for the Stanley Cup playoffs, but expect a deal for Evan Bouchard to be announced here in the coming weeks as well. I think Evan Bouchard and Connor McDavid together are both key pieces for this team's future, and Connor McDavid mentioning that he doesn't want to see any more key prospects go out for the Edmonton Oilers, and obviously Evan Bouchard is much more than a prospect at this point for the Oilers, but he is another younger piece, a big piece on the Oilers' blue line, so I think keeping Evan Bouchard will definitely be key for Connor McDavid as well. Connor McDavid also confirmed in his media availability that Ryan Nugent-Hopkins was playing with a broken hand in the Stanley Cup Finals. We know he was a game-time decision for most of the games in the finals, so definitely understandable with a broken hand for Nuge that it was hard for him to go, and very commendable that he still stood up, got the job done for his team to the best of his ability, so hopefully Nuge can get that hand healed up over the summer here and be ready for the fall. And to wrap up here for now, guys, there's a lot of talk about the Edmonton Oilers goaltending situation, whether both Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard will both be replaced or one of them is coming back. I think the most likely scenario is that Stuart Skinner sticks around and we may see the Oilers move on from Calvin Pickard and bring in another guy to be in a tandem with Stuart Skinner. But also, Calvin Pickard played fantastic for the Edmonton Oilers this year. He really delivered on that $1 million deal that he's still on for another year. So if Calvin Pickard stays, he provides great value for the Oilers at $1 million. And if they could find another guy to replace Stuart Skinner, that may be the better situation for the Edmonton Oilers. I love both Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard, so I'd hate to see either guy go, but I think it's pretty clear that from all the reports and speculation out there that the Oilers are likely to make a change in goal, so expect either one of Stuart Skinner or Calvin Pickard to not be back with the Edmonton Oilers next year. I think that's all the latest there for now, guys. If anything more big comes up, I'll update you, but for right now, there's goaltending speculation out there, Evander Kane trade speculation, Victor Arvidsson trade speculation, a lot of talk, and I expect it to be a busy next couple weeks here for the Edmonton Oilers going into the draft and free agency. We may see some big changes to this team. So let me know your thoughts on all the reports currently out there in the comment section below. If this is your first visit to the channel and you like what you see, please consider liking and subscribing for all the latest Oilers content. You've been watching the Oilers Fanatic. Thanks for being a fan.